Up until now, we've been working with individual variables. But what if we wanted to see the relationship between two variables? In other words, a bivariate relationship. Well, in this case, we're going to use a scatter diagram to see what type of relationship we see. And we'll create the scatter diagram between price and age. Comment on the relationship between the two variables. For this, we'll use Excel's built-in function. So we want price and we want data. So we select all of the data, and in this case, with Megastat you don't include the labels, but with Excel you can. So you go to Insert now and pick a scatter chart. See, they named this one right, unlike the bar chart. So we hit scatter, the first one that we see, and there we have our chart. But it's kind of unclean, it needs to be cleaned up just a little bit. So what we can do is go up here to the chart layouts, pick the first one, and that gives us title on our axes. We can come up here and create a better title name. Okay, so we have that. We can relabel our axes. But wait a second. This is our age on this axis, but we want the age on the x-axis. Well, that's a drawback of using Excel. With Excel, whichever column is the first column or the leftmost column that you select from the data becomes the x-axis. So what we'll do is we will delete this. We will move our age right here. Again, we have our data selected. Just go back up so we can keep the picture near the top so we see our column headings. And there we go. Now we're talking. We have our dollar signs, our dollars on the y-axis and our age on the x-axis, but how can you tell? This one you can tell because it has the dollars, and by process of elimination you can get that these are the ages. But if we select this first layout in the chart layout section, and that comes up as soon as you insert the chart, you now get axes labels and a heading. So what we want to do though is make it a more descriptive title. So we'll call it okay. You can go back and make it cleaner if you're going to submit this for a report. The access title, we can go ahead and relabel that to car price, and we can relabel down here as age of buyer. Now again, this is an Excel chart. We can stretch it, we can do as we please with it, but let's get rid of this. We don't really need a legend if we only have one variable. So there you are. We can also, if we wanted to, go in and reset the data minimum so that we could actually have it start at $10,000 and above, and age of 20 years old or above. Well, we'll change one of them. There you go. Actually, we'll just change them both. Okay, and that gets a little bit more of a spread on the data, and it gives us a little bit clearer picture on where the points are on the different data points. So what this is saying is that you had a 25-year-old who bought a car that was around, say, $16,000, a 26-ish year old who bought a car at around 15.5 or something like that, and then you have a 58-year-old who bought a car that's about 24,000. Oh, well, look at that. It shows up for us, 24,220, just by hovering over the data point. You can go in, I believe, and actually have the data set. Yeah, there you go. That gets a little bit busy though, but it is possible to do that. So what do you have to say about this relationship? We can look at this, and it's kind of going in a linear fashion, increasing the price of the car with the age of the buyer. Thinking about it logically, that kind of makes sense, because you, when you reach 35, 40 years old, and then some, you're making a lot more than when you're 25, or at least a little bit more, you hope, and so you can afford a more expensive car, and likewise as you go up in age. And that's how the data being displayed in a scatter plot can help you visualize what the data is telling you and what the relationship is between two variables. That's the scatter plot.